All right, well, hello everyone. So, starting a little bit late, but I had some technical difficulties, so sorry about that. But what we're going to do today is we're going to be looking at a little bit of Hot Cocoa Corner, and then we're going to be doing our Boothill pulls on Honkai Star Rail. So, but that should be really fun. All right, so first off, let me click over to some info. So, starting off, of course, we got Genshin Impact. Um, they're of course doing all their like reblog their thing and maybe get a prize. Never did, but so I don't do it anymore. But they have that. They had some really beautiful art that they posted recently. They have this underwater treasure hunt, which is kind of one of those. You could go ahead and do it, but you're not going to win the Primo Gems, basically. Because the Primo Gems are connected with a discount coupon voucher for top up and stuff like that. So it's like very rare that you'd actually get it, but it's still kind of just a very easy little activity or web event to just go and get a few extra little bits and stuff like that. Let's see. They have some Genius Invocation TCG stuff happening. They announced the winners of some of the picture contest. Official's birthday was 2 days ago, so we got this beautiful official art, as well as the chibi versions, which is kind of cute. They have the 4.4 preview, excuse me, 4.7 preview out, which is very nice. You can share that and get 20,000 Mora or whatever. Overflowing Mastery is going on right now. They also have the teaser out for Natland, which we kind of talked about last time because we were doing the stream. But if you guys want to check that out, there's a bunch of stuff for that. So, for example, the Natland preview, the Imaginary Theory, excuse me, I'm trying to talk too fast. The Imaginarium Theater, which is going to be a permanent mode, but I believe it's going to kind of switch out like it does with Spiral Abyss. So we're gonna have that. They also have that cute little animation for Genshin with Ether and Lumine in it. It's super cute. I suggest watching it if you haven't. And so on and so forth. Okay, and then of course we had all about the live stream, which we kind of talked about on Friday, I believe. So you have that whole thing. And there you go. So that is what's up with Genshin. As for Wuthering Waves, I'm going to end it with Honkai Star Rail since we're going into it. But going into Wuthering Waves, they have been updating their game, so it is running a little bit smoother now. Ping is not as wild. They're kind of like touching base on some of the bus tour they did. The Overdash Club is supposed to be starting tomorrow. This is kind of like the parkour event, so they're going to be having that. They also have some extra stuff. They have like Project Wave and things, but that's kind of like it's more for like, I guess, or artists and stuff like that. I do streaming for Wuthering Waves, but it said something like you have to have like 800 people watching you or something. I do not have that many, so it's basically for only the big streamers. So I'm kind of not even going to bother. But that's there. I'll probably stream more Wuthering Waves anyway, but I won't sign up because there's no point. Then we have, of course, the events that are going on right now. We have Gion's banner going, and then we're gonna have Yingling's banner. I'm saving for Changli whenever she shows up. Hopefully 1.1 or later. But we have a couple events and things going on. Sort of a start. They have been giving a lot of free rewards, including a free standard resonator ticket because they were like, sorry that it's kind of a mess. So if you haven't, I suggest you get on there and go get it. It's connected to a special banner, so basically you get the voucher through the mail, and then you will use it for a banner. It's kind of a good sign because since they have that programmed in, it kind of looks like maybe every anniversary will get one. So you can get like a constellation or a character you don't have, or maybe they'll even put more standard characters or more 5-star characters on standard banner as time goes by, kind of like Genshin does. But we'll have to see. The fact that they're being so generous right now is actually a really good sign because it means they're not afraid to be generous. And they are updating it, so it is getting better and better. And again, you know, it's like when Genshin started out, for example, it wasn't perfect. That it was the first time doing an open world game for them. They were doing with that. So, um, it's kind of funny for me that Wuthering Waves and Coral Games is in the same kind of similar position as Mihoyo was with Genshin, because like Coral Games had not done an open world game yet. However, they had done a lot of like, you know, stage fighting games, very similar to how Mihoyo had or has Honkai Impact. And then they made Genshin with the idea of like, oh, let's try to branch out, and then it became so popular. This one is also doing the same thing. Had a kind of fighting game, stage game, and then moved into which and then moved into open world. So if they can basically keep updating and keep fixing the issues they've been having with the whole ping and stuff like that, I think they will be good to go. Um, so you have that. I think this is some old stuff, but there you go. So we got quite a few polls and free stuff. So you know, if you haven't played or you're like, oh, I'll wait around, you might want to get on and just kind of at least get your stuff started. But you have that, and then for Honkai Star Rail, we have of course Boothill being pulled today. There's a very nice video of him for him here. I would suggest go watching it because it's super cool. Let's see this. I think this is just like a creation calling for memes. Fan art contest. I like this. Don't you run, wait till I'm done charging. It's like he can't go anywhere because he's plugged in. You have that. There's like just a little Twitter event. This 3D rendering challenge video is actually really nice. There's some really cute things in there, like Adventurine falling asleep, and in his dream he's with his sister. He's a little kid and he's with his sister again, which I was like, oh, that is just so cute. But I feel so bad for him. But you have this one, it's pretty good. And then of course we have the warp events, which we're going to be doing quite soon. And then we're having this one, Legend of the Galactic Baseballer event starting, which I think it's actually starting today. So we might actually do some of that on stream as well, and so on. But that is up for Hot Cocoa Corner, and now we're going to switch over to Honkai Star Rail. Here. There you go. And we're going to do our Boothill pulls. That. Alright. Let's get to our warp here. Okay. Yeah, so I have enough to pull him. Hopefully it won't take the whole 180. Because I do want to save up for Sunday whenever he shows up. Also, apparently there's some other characters that are, you know, coming that have been drip marketed or are rumored that look pretty or that sound pretty cool. So I want to try to get them as well. But we'll have to see. This is one of those situations like kind of how I had in Fontaine, where I was like, okay, I have this, I will roll and then see where I stand. But let us get started. I think my pity is actually like 30 because I was rolling a little bit on Robin's and she didn't show up, but I did have about 30. So, whew, all right. So let us get into this. All right. So this would be 40 pity, I believe. Okay, so we're going with a pink here. There's a Luca. Yeah, I think I might have Luca C6 because as you can see it just turned into Undying Starlight. So I think the others might be C6 too. Let me check real quick. Hang on a second. Or hang on. It's Kayla, Luca, and Hook. Go to the characters real quick. Luca. Yeah, he's all done. We also have Kayla. Yep, and she's all done. Last one was Hook. Okay, Hook is not done. So if we get any hooks, then we'll get some constellations for her. This actually works out though because with Luca and Pela, it'll give me more um, funds to basically buy Sunday's polls when I get there. I have like 75 for him, which is not guaranteed, but it's getting there. So, all right, back to wishing. Okay, so that was 40, and this will be 50. Okay, so yep. Oh, okay, so we got a yeah. I find it kind of weird that both of the light cones with Gnyphin on them she doesn't use. She can't use them. Like she's not a hunt. She's something else. I don't remember exactly what she is right at the moment, but I was just like, why are the both of them that have her face on it? She can't use. It kind of upsets me, especially since she's a 4-star and technically does not have a official um like signature light cone. But anyway, okay, so here is 60. Okay, another pink, I believe. Yeah, it's a pink. We got a hook. Little hook. Very nice. Right. And let's see. So this will be 70. So this should be starter of soft pity. Oh, here's oh, okay, here comes the 5-star. Let's see if it's him because I don't have a guaranteed, so it might not be him. It scared me out of my wits. Ah! It's him! Nice! Wow! So that's actually pretty good because not only did I just win the 50-50, but I also came home in early pity. Or it softish pity, because he came out at 70. So ah! Nice! There he is! Ah, it's cool. And he still leaves me like a huge chunk. That's really nice. Thank you, Boothill. Thank you for being nice to me. I think in that regard, I think I'll do at least one pull on his light cone to see if we get him. I don't know if we will. I don't even know what my pity is. I think the last time I won, or I got a 50-50 was on Gweniphin's light cone. That was during her first run. I didn't get her, but I got her light cone. I don't even think it goes back that far. Okay, yeah. So it's at least 50. So let's see. What is this one? Is this? don't roll on this very often, so I don't see. The pity on him. 5 star. Okay, within 80 warps. So we're at 50 right now. So I guess I'll do a 10 pull and see what happens. Just because he came home so early. If it doesn't show up, that's fine. Maybe I'll end up saving it for Sunday, or if Argenti gets a um, oh, let's see. If Argenti gets a rerun, I might try to pull for his light cone. But let's see. Let's do 110 pull and see what happens. Okay, it is not the 5 star, but that's okay. It just adds for next time. It's not that really big of a deal to get the light cone anyway. Oh. I'm pulling out a light cone banner. What happens? Asta shows up. Go away. There we go, though. Pretty good. This is nice, though, because with this plus what I have from the store, yeah, right here, yeah, I have about 80. So if I add those together, then it's like, okay, whenever Sunday shows up, I will be able to get him. These are my Sunday funds. Oh, that was really good, though. He came home early. All right, let's check him out. I actually didn't do a lot of pre. Let me do books first.
Hook's ready to find the next treasure.
Don't be picky, nothing's icky.
Hook's ready to find the next treasure.
It's okay to not know. Yeah, those are definitely little girl. I'm kind of surprised, to be honest, that, I mean, after we got started, the only two small models are Hook and Bailu, and that's it. Like, we have not gotten any other small little girl models since then. So that's kind of interesting. But there he is. Ah, he's cool. All right. Let's try to maybe level him up as much as we can.
That's the forking spirit.
We might go fight his boss a couple times today.
That's the forking spirit.
I did do a little pre-farming for him, but not a lot. Not as much as I probably could have. I got sort of distracted because what happened was I had been rolling on Aventurine's banner and he hadn't shown up, and then at the last minute, like the last day of his banner, he showed up, and then I got sidetracked by raising him, and so on and so forth. So
That's the forking spirit.
okay, we have to fight in the theme park for these guys, but that's okay. We got pretty far. All right, so let's see. He needs the hunt. Yeah, it'd be kind of funny if I hooked this one to him. Let me borrow this one ratio right now. I'll have to look up a building idea for him for building
Survival will all depend on this. Survival will all depend on this.
I like unlocking all of his stuff first, if I can. Just because then he has access to everything in his kit versus just certain parts of it. A cyborg cowboy drifting among the stars, extremely optimistic and unrestrained. He's a member of the Galaxy Rangers who swore to punish the wretched by any and all means. His flamboyant and brash actions were all to draw the attention of the Interastral Peace Corporation, the target of his revenge.
Name's Boothill. Those who've heard of me know what I'm about. Those who haven't, well, for the sake of your own skin, you best keep it that way.
Oh my gosh. I like how they gave that little bit of like robotic tune to his voice. It's kind of like, yeah, he's definitely, a cyborg. He's not just a guy wearing a suit of armor. He's definitely most partly robot, if not most of it.
This is some fudging fine weather we're having. Wonder which little son of a nice lady's gonna run out of luck today.
He's so weird with his censorship. Son of a nice lady.
I won't fool myself thinking our paths will cross again. But if they do, let's hope I ain't pushing up daisies.
Oh, gee. Stay here.
A few thousand years back, folks called those deadly gunslingers Boothills. You see, it ain't exactly a name meant for the living, and, well, I guess I ain't quite what you call alive.
Oh, poor man. Yeah, he deserves hugs.
So here's the thing. Someone went and tinkered with my synesthesia beacon. So now every time you muddle fudgers hear me chin wagging with those shirt bags, it's all a bunch of fudge this and fork that. See what I'm saying?
Oh, I was wondering about that too. If he knew, um, that he would of. Explain it. I was wondering if he knew what what he was saying, what the translation was, because it's like if the synthesia beacon is translating everybody's words, so that means that whatever we're saying to him and saying to him is being translated to his language. Like assuming if it was like a different alien language, it's a translating to his language, which means that anything he says, he thinks he's saying or he's speaking in his own language, but it's coming across to us as in English or whatever. However, it definitely does seem that he knows that it's being mistranslated.
Hey, this year's Bart's 17 years. Straight from the Cavalent system, aged in sherry barrels, and absolute beast of Pete. Oh, if malt juice ain't your poison, try pouring some strawberry milkshake over freshly tilled soil, and voila, classic peaty flavor. Bon appetit.
Oh my gosh, that's what it tastes like. Whoa, I don't know. A strawberry milkshake over dirt. Uh,
You've seen them travel brochures the IPC puts out. Places worth seeing are all marked as being travel risks. Well, that's the upside of being a wanted man. I am the risk. So those places, zero risk from me.
I am the risk, OG.
Might be that my pockets are filled with ill-gotten gains, but I stick to my principles. Rule 1. Never use dirty money for pleasure. Rule 2. Credit ain't the same as cash. And rule 3. A bit of fun don't count as indulgence. I never break these rules.
He's right on all those, especially rule number 2. I know it. When I was younger, I don't know if they still do this, but they had this whole thing of, oh yeah, when you get old enough to get a credit card, know that you have to pay that money back. That like there are people who don't get told that and they think the credit is like free money. And it's like, no, you got to pay that back, and pretty much you got to pay it back at the end of the month, because if you don't, then you're going to go into debt. So it's more of a just, oh, you don't have to pay it right this second, but you are going to have to pay it later. So,
Oh, baby, yeah. 9mm, the eternal classic. Now, with a little good old-fashioned phosphorus tracer, you got yourself some poppin' candy with extra pop. Now, what's the saying again? Tracer bullets work both sides of the fence, meaning they're enough to scare away the small fry, but still bring in the big fish.
I liked all the little extra things he put in there. Excited.
The cosmos is like a slob's kitchen. Open up any cupboard, and you'll find a nest of those corporate assholes and them scurrying about. Means this place still needs some tidying up. In this life, you gotta believe in some things and doubt others. Believe in folks' good intentions, the value of courage and all that other hodgepodge, but never believe that these good things will just fall into your lap. You gotta make them happen. Ever seen the Hunt's Lux arrow? Well, if you ever do, make sure not to stare directly. That's how I ended up losing my right eye and got this here body. Just pulling your leg.
You know, that is interesting though. I know when I was watching Boot Hill's voice actor, Andrew Russell. He mentioned like, do we know if he has a right eye? And I was like, does he have a right eye? I never thought about it.
I've always had a thing for those Xianzhou folks. This guy's a good one. Like me, he ain't much for talking, preferring to express himself with his weapon. We're bound to hit it off. I ain't got no idea what her story is, nor why she's parading around as a Galaxy Ranger, but that's alright. If a fella like me can uphold the justice, it means there ain't just one road to righteousness.
Yeah, I know that whole thing. He showed up specifically to kick her butt because he's like, "Who the heck she is? Who the heck does she think she is? Pretending to be a Galaxy Ranger and yada yada." And then she told him that the reason why she was doing that was to get his attention, because they were like, "We need the Galaxy Rangers' help." Like, I wasn't doing it because I was trying to like upserve you guys, or pretend. I was just trying to get you to show up. Like, oh, that works.
Tracking down this memo keeper friend is only as tough as you make it for yourself. Wasting time, sniffing around for info is just like shooting blanks. Better to just sit tight and meditate on come find me. Who knows? She might just waltz on over.
It's like, don't look for her. Don't look for her, or she'll find you. Oh, he's a voice line for Sunday. Yeah, this is the one thing about like, okay, Sunday's gonna be playable because he's got so many lines about himself. from other characters, and they don't usually put in lines unless the characters are going to be playable.
What's that old saying again? You got it. The path to hell is paved with good intentions. That's the one.
I know a lot of people are saying that the story seems to be leading to Sunday becoming a Stellaron hunter, which I don't know if it's true, but it would be really awesome if it was. Um, I I even saw a video that actually talked about it. I was like, that actually makes quite a lot of sense. Also, too, it'd be a lot better than Sunday just sticking around in jail until the family decides what to do with him. Considering it's their fault, or partly their fault, because it was like he was doing things because Gopherwood has manipulated him and brainwashed him through like his entire, not exactly his entire childhood, but I would say probably 20 years or so. If you kind of put it as like, oh, he was like 8 or 9 when uh Gopherwood quote unquote adopted him and Robin, and then he is now in his like late 20s. He was probably 20 years old under Gopherwood, and yeah. And then, of course, as soon as it goes bad, he gets thrown under the bus. While the rest of the family is a bunch of mafia. So it's kind of like, yeah, you know, I hope that Elio goes and is like, oh, okay, Blade, Kafka, Firefly, go get Sunday because uh, he'll be very useful to us and also not useful in jail.
Funny how fate works. We crossed paths before. Finding someone in this vast universe with such similar tastes ain't easy, you know. Both of us clad in silver, both packing heat. The cherry on top, we're both oozing with righteousness.
Yeah, a lot of people have started up the um was it Argent Hill ship between Boot Hill and Argenti because of just how similar they are. I thought it's kind of interesting.
That guy's as notorious as they come. Just like me, a madman who throws caution to the wind. Maybe I should step it up. Get him out of the way quicker. Double my bounty in no time.
Don't do that. The Aventurine fans will kill you. They will kick your butt.
In that bunch of no-goods at the firm, she's considered one of the better ones, right? Yeah. But as long as she's with the IPC, she's no different from the rest of them. All cut from the same cloth. Remember those moral codes? Forget about them.
Oh.
That's the forking spirit. Times have changed, darling. Survival will all depend on this. Fortunately, you're not interested in my bounty. Otherwise, I would be dead already. I was just thinking of you. That was fast. Fudge me sideways. You're finally here, brother. Knights of Beauty and Galaxy Rangers. Who will let us join forces? Let's deal with these thugs first, and then we'll talk about how to deal with you, shall we? Weird. A big wanted criminal is right in front of you, but you're still so stubborn.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if who has voice lines for him. It's kind of sad because the only voice lines that Argenti has to do with the Astral Express crew, and it's like he's been all over the place. He should be knowing more people than just us.
Dreams, in essence, are meaningless. Their purpose is painted by the backdrop of life. Yet, if that backdrop is emptiness, then dreams are reduced to colorless, hollow shells. Galaxy Ranger. His affiliation with the organization is merely a cover. It's evident that he lives only for himself. And that is exactly why I have faith in him.
I can't check. I was sure I listened to his stuff. Maybe it reset on us. On me. But it's alright. Alright. That. Yep, here's the Legend of the Galactic Baseballer. Have the aptitude showcase. How about we do this first? I always tend to forget about them, and then the last couple days come by, and I'm like, did I do them? This will give us a good chance to practice with Boothill before I actually use him. Which I probably won't use him for a little bit because I need to raise him up a little, but Boothill. Shoots pretty far, doesn't he? I wonder if we can see it from here. Oh my gosh! It actually hit from here! That is pretty awesome. Does he have another eye? Can't tell. Thing is, I was excited about getting him because I'm an American, and usually you don't have very many American type characters in anime games. Um,
Locked and loaded.
so the fact that we do, and he's a pretty cool one, is nice. All right, get him from here.
Guess who decided to show up?
Don't know. Let's. Oh, yep, we can. He just has to be on level with them so that he doesn't shoot over their heads. Let's see. Boothill. Alright, deals minor physical damage to a single enemy, initiates standoff after the target in the standoff is defeated or weakness broken. Boothill receives pocket trick shot and dispels the standoff. Boothill gains enhanced basic attack and this turn does not end. Let's see. Applies physical weakness to a single enemy. Deals massive physical damage to them and delays their action. Tizzling Tango.
All of you stand still.
We have on him. Alright. Of course he has his own light coat on him. Kind of curious about what... Honestly, I should have checked before I got into battle, but I was wondering what relics he had on him.
There's always a weakness. Lend me your strength.
Let's do it.
Oh my gosh.
Waiting in line for a bullet. Bring it on.
Ready for another? Enemy data secured. Net markers activate. Time for a good old counterattack. This battle is unavoidable.
There's no reasoning with you bunch anymore.
The way he stands too is just like, wow.
There are only two kinds of people in the world. Those with a loaded gun. Those who dig their own grave.
Oh my. That was really cool.
The time is now. Lend me your strength.
Don't worry,
We've
this one's
entered
on
the
me.
storm. To guard and defend. Crush them!
Let's do it. Fair and square. Draw. Here's your final reward.
Time for a shot.
That is impressive. And meanwhile, Natasha's like, I haven't gotten a turn yet, you know.
Savor the vigor of it.
All of you stand still. Fire. I didn't see you break.
I am so glad I rolled for him. That is so awesome.
Oh! This battle is unavoidable. Naughty children, don't listen. You're in bad shape.
Waiting in line for a bullet.
I just realized that I think out of all of them, Pila is the only one that doesn't have a gun.
Bring it on, Booker. Draw.
You'll pay
There's
for
no
this.
reasoning with you bunch anymore. There are only two kinds of people in the world. Those with a loaded gun. Those who dig their own grave.
Evil doer. We have the upper hand. Inputting commands. Savor the vigor of life. Just in time. Just a little something. Think nothing of it. Assistance is timely. This battle is unavoidable. The time is now. Lend me your strength.
All of you stand still. Let's do it. Fair and square. Fire.
Enemy targets detected. Ready for another? Enemy data secured. Net markers activated. Time for good old counterattack.
I mean, I guess they're guns. They're kind of like lasers, so.
Don't worry, this one's on me. Bring it on, Booker. Draw. Here's your final reward.
That was pretty cool. I like that. That was pretty good. All right. Do that. And I think it'll be a good idea to fight his boss a couple. I like these early access because you don't have to move. You just have to fight, and then when you're done, you're staying where you are. I believe I'm standing right in front of.
I'll be right behind you with all the support you need, Don Hung. Be fearless.
That what? Oh, um.
Do not be afraid. Delve hidden moon, world cleansing dragon. Celestial dragon.
The fact that he gives the bombastic side eye to when he does his ultimate, he's like, huh.
Humanity never conceals its desire to control the heavens, and I'm no exception.
It's interesting that, of course, Boothill would need to fight the IPC guys in order to level up, considering they're his enemy.
Inevitable. Watch your head. Rise. You won't get away.
Humanity never conceals its desire to control the heavens, and I'm no exception.
I still miss the way her line used to be, where she said, humanity never controls its desire to, it never controls its desire to control the heavens, and uh, and she's supposed to say like neither do I, but they changed it, so. But I got so used to the first way she said it that after they changed it, I was like, ah.
The dead return. World cleansing dragon.
You won't get away.
Do it a few more times.
Rise.
I think his last one is like 35, so we're probably gonna have to do this a little bit.
Humanity never conceals its desire to control the heavens, and I'm no exception.
World cleansing dragon.
You won't get away.
Spend freely.
Humanity never conceals.
Thing is, originally I wasn't gonna roll on Aventurine, but he's such a good shielder. I mean, look at that shield. It's like nobody's getting through that.
You won't get away.
Bust. Or maybe I'll take it off.
The only problem is when I have him and Lucha on the same team, it's like it's a little bit overkill because Lucha never gets to heal anybody unless something really goes wrong. Aventurine usually has it covered, so I usually end up on like challenge modes and stuff. I'll hook Aventurine with like Bailu because then it's sort of like, okay, if something happens to go wrong, she can heal up people and cut the slack, but it doesn't like uh basically make her useless. I think it's like with Blade as well.
World cleansing dragon.
Like when you try to put Blade in the same party as Aventurine, he doesn't let Blade do his thing. So they're just being like, ah.
I underestimated you. Watch your head.
I was streaming the other day though, and somebody saw my Aventurine and my Lucha, and they were like, "Wait, do you have?" They were like, "Oh, I thought you had two Aventurines for a second." It was like, "No, one of them is Lucha," which at this point, I mean, it's kind of funny because you have like in Mihoyo, right? You have Auto Apocalypse. Okay, Auto Apocalypse. And he's gone from being like a character to being a archetype. You know, that it's like, okay, you had the original Auto, but then you also had you had original Auto in Honkai Impact, but then you also had Void Archives, who is basically a character that kind of acts like Otto and took over one of Otto's bodies. You have a Moriarty character who's basically took over a young Otto's body. I think there's a couple other like versions in there too. Like there's an Otto that was a priest and he ends up dying in one of the alternate universes or whatever. So there's a whole bunch of Ottos in there, and then we get into the other games for like Genshin, for example. I know the last level takes a bit, so. But then you end up having Genshin, okay, and you have Ayato. And Ayato is kind of Otto-ish because, like, one, his name sort of sounds like Otto, Ayato. It kind of doesn't rhyme exactly, but it's close. And Yato definitely has this kind of vibe to him where he will do whatever it takes to protect his family. And while he has not been pushed to that point quite yet, against like, you know, like the Raiden Shogun, for example, I believe it is mentioned somewhere in his stories or his voice lines that he will do whatever he takes, even if he has to go against her. So it's sort of like, yeah, Ayato is like the, was it Crouching Tiger type of character where he could so easily become Otto. But at this point he hasn't. So you have him, and then in Honkai Star Rail, you of course have Lucha, who apparently his actual name is Otto. Although we're not 100% sure about that, because what happens is Jing Huan goes and mentions about how Lucha is only the name he takes when he's on the Zansho ships and stuff. Take a break from that. It's the only the name he uses on the ships. So which means that his real name is something different. And Jing Huan even mentions about how Lucha's name is a mouthful. And what could be more of a mouthful than Auto Apocalypse? Also too, I don't know if they do the Chinese version, but in Honkai Impact, Otto goes around for a while with the name Raksha, and he also carries a coffin around with him. So it's sort of like, okay, yeah, the similarities are too much to ignore here. We don't really know. We don't really know what his whole plan is. I mean, he mentions he wants to kill Yaoshi, but his thing is so vague, we don't know. And also, he's currently in jail right now. So we have to wait until the story basically revisits him. Um, you have him, but then you also have Sunday, who also has kind of a auto apocalypse type of thing. Sunday is sort of is interesting because he's a kind of a cross between auto apocalypse and Ayato, because they both have the whole brother and sister would do anything to protect them type of vibe.
Organ spirit.
How much do we more? We're getting there. We need, oh, 3 more boss fights. Probably do those today. Then we can get Boothill at least fully unlocked. Or at least when it comes to his levels. So Sunday is basically kind of like Auto Apocalypse plus Ayato. So, and he is also in jail. Which I think he and Lucha are in 2 opposite jails, but it would be so funny if they actually meet up at some point.
Watch your head.
I don't know whether they would get along or if they would be like, okay, this guy is too similar to me, I gotta stay on my toes. And they'd hate each other. To be honest, they'd probably do something along the lines of they'd meet up, realize the usefulness of the other, but then kind of do a whole I'm gonna be nice to their face, but planning on stabbing them in the back if they happen to betray me type of attitude. Just because they since they're the same personality, they kind of know what the other one is capable of.
Spend freely. Bust. Or maybe I'll take it all. All in. Rise. Watch your head.
Barely felt
World cleansing dragon.
you won't get away.
Humanity never conceals its desire to control the heavens, and I'm no exception.
Yeah, she used to say, and neither do I. That's what she used to say. But they changed it. So we need 35, right? We might be able to get enough. Okay. I also kind of wanted to farm a little for his traces, but well, it's one step at a time. These characters have so much stuff to work on. You know, it's like you have their whatchamacallit.
Dirty tricks,
You have their main level, their trace levels,
Bust.
their art, their relics.
Maybe I'll take it all. Watch your head.
You won't get away.
They have their other ones too, but you really
The heavens, and I'm
that one's really more of a just you have to roll for those. So, and I'm pretty sure unless you're like a whale or you really like a character, most people aren't going to be like C6ing somebody if it's like a limited 5-star character. Like I'm usually just happy with one. I think the only like limited 5-star characters that I have gotten, copies for are ones that are either a second. Okay. Um uh, the only ones that's happened to me is either been by accident, or it was a character I really really liked. Like, for example, I actually have a C1, or I guess it's E1, E1 Jinkyuan, completely by accident. I rolled for him on his rerun, and he showed up twice in the same pull, same temple. I was just like, oh my gosh. So that was really impressive. Um, but I think he's my only limited character that I have etalons for. Now for Genshin, which I guess isn't that surprising because really this game is only over a year old. It's not. It's not that. It's not that old. Um, Now with Genshin, I have a little bit more of that. I have a C3 Baizu because I'm a Baizu main and I love Baizu. So I actually did actively get constellations for him. But I also have a constellation for Sino and constellation for Hu Tao because by accident. Basically what happened is I was rolling for the 4-star on their banner, and they end up showing up twice. Which I wasn't upset by or anything because one more time. Actually, it will work out just perfect. I wasn't upset by or anything because if I had been, I wouldn't have been rolling on that banner. But I was like, how in the heck did I get a C1 Sino and a C1 Hu Tao before I got Candace or Toba?
Humanity never conceals its desire to control the heavens.
uh, which I've kind of learned not to go overboard when it comes to 4-stars, especially if it's on a banner that you're like not too thrilled about. Like, I know with Genshin we're gonna have Sethos on Cloran and Alhaitham's banners, and while I do want Sethos, I already have Alhaitham, and I don't really want Cloran. So
Humanity never conceals its desire to control the heavens, and I'm no exception.
so chances are I'll probably just hold off on getting Sethos and just either wait until he shows up when I'm pulling on standard, or
maybe I'll take it off. Watch your head.
The dead return! I underestimated you.
basically wait until I get him on standard, or he ends up being on a banner that I actually am gonna pull on. Alright. So that I think we might have to synthesize a little bit though. Yeah. How many of these do we have? 6. Guards of Desire.
That's the forking spirit.
Oh. Won't get us to top level, but we'll get there. At least he has the ability to get there. That's pretty cool. Now what? I remember them saying something about like, oh, here is a it was an artifact set for him. Nothing yet because he just came out. It's kind of like there was no point in farming for relics for him because there's gonna be apparently new relics coming that fit him much better. But we can go, I guess, for this one for right now. Attack, crit rate. Oh, that actually works out really well. Not wind damage. He's not wind, he's physical. Do I have any. I think this one is probably going to be better, but Trailblazer's currently having it. I think it's supposed to be like break effect and like physical damage better for him, but we'll go with that for right now. Like I said, I'm pretty sure he's gonna get like a whole new one pretty soon. So. Use up quite a bit of that. But, I mean, you only have to level up these cards once, and this is a 5-star card, so. I'll probably have a better one for him, but I find it interesting too because he's like, oh, I really like those Yanju folks or whatever, and it's like, well, it makes sense considering he's the hunt and their big thing is the hunt. Where are you?
Let's deal with these thugs first, and then we'll talk about how to deal with you, shall we?
It's like, leave Adrene alone. Yeah, he's so cool. He really can't zoom up close enough. See if he actually has another eye under there. Huh. Just the way he moves too, it's just like lean. He's just like kind of sassy.
Locked and loaded.
It's kind of funny though. It's so fitting that his trace materials is one. Oh, not that. His trace materials is a bullet.
Take us home, please. Or we will follow you home.
That's darn creepy. I know what's so funny about that because when people first start seeing that, they were like, "Wait, he's eating his bullets. Why is he doing that?" But then you see through his ultimate, he pulls the bullet up out of his mouth to use. So he's basically storing it in there until he needs it. That's kind of fun. Him and his shark teeth. I was not expecting that for his gentle picture. Oh. I think this one's actually more gentle than this one. But at least he looks like he's having a good time. Yeah, I know his story is really sad. But he's actually a an indigenous person, and that he was living. He's let's see. His story goes from what I remember of it. His story goes is that uh he was living on his planet, and he was orphaned, and he got adopted by these two guys, I think. And they were raising him, and he grew up, and he basically learned kind of ways of the ranch, but also the native aspects of their planet and so on, and everything. And he was an adult. He found a little girl who had also been abandoned, and so he adopted her. And kind of it was carrying on the line of like, oh, my parents, my adoptive parents took care of me, and now I'm passing it on by taking care of this little girl. And so everything was really nice. And then the world exploded, and he basically lost not only his parents and all his friends, but the little girl too. He lost his daughter, and that is just so sad. I don't know exactly how it was he became a cyborg though, so it's hopefully it says so. What's his story? Let's see. The Child in the Snow. Yeah, this is Boot Hill. Bit loaded gun. People were actually trying to figure out what the name could be. Some people were saying things like, uh, I mean, going by and only being able to use what we know actually in English. Um, they were like, oh well, Colt is a gun, or is a loaded gun, is a gun. So it's like whatever his real name was. Yeah. Ray took him to learn about plants, animals, and rivers. Nick taught him how to tame horses and farm sheep. He didn't know what to do. Yeah, this is his daughter. Yeah, this is the point. They're taking their land. Boothill is basically a native, indigenous person. This is why he's on his need for revenge. He's going after the guy who killed his family. Back to the farm. You'd only learned to walk a while ago. The IPC are the bad guys here. I mean, if you were to put it into Genshin equivalent, the IPC is kind of like the Fatui, in the sense that they act like, oh yeah, we're here for the betterment of everybody, but they're not. They're for the betterment of themselves, and there are some really crooked people there. Oh gosh, he did it to himself. He realized he wouldn't. Oh, well, baby, because I'm bad at my job. So he did technically die because he let his body get killed and melted. Really, like yikes. I wonder who the short doctor is. It would be funny if it ended up being like Herta or something, you know? Because it's like she only had I shouldn't say she only, but she mostly like talks to us through her dolls, and it's like, oh, she can breathe. last part is this. I was wondering how that whole thing happened. Because if he had been in an accident and they had to rebuild him or whatever, but no, he actively went and allowed it to happen himself. Oh gosh, he's so he wants so badly wants to get revenge. And I understand. Poor dude. Yeah, I know his this Eidolon has him with his flesh body, his real one, because it kind of represents his soul and everything. So, home. Yeah, I hope someday we will be able to have a car. This is kind of a random thought, uh, but I hope one day we will be given like a train car or even just a room on this train that we can decorate the way for ourselves. Oh, look, there's Silverwolf.
Oh,
Oh,
drats. What a drag. Should have known to turn off the gravity simulator. Oh, I've grown so accustomed to network roaming that normal transportation feels weird now.
what's wrong? Pretend you didn't notice her.
Who's there? That it's you. You saw that?
Yep. Are you suffering from motion sickness? So you do have weaknesses, huh? Try not to vomit on the express, please.
No, no. I'm just messing with you because I'm bored. Motion sickness? Me? Don't be absurd. Don't forget,
Yeah, she's motion sick.
standing in front of you is just a hologram. The real me is now lying in a cozy ice bath far, far away from the Astral Express.
To be honest, I kind of think that what she's actually doing is she really is here. But she has put a shield around her to make it look like a hologram. But that is actually her right there.
Hello? Hello? The express is about to warp jump. All passengers, please get ready.
Oh, she ran away. Where'd she go? She was on the express for real, not just a hologram. Yep. She ran away. She's like, nope, I'm out of here. No, no, no warp jumping for me, thanks.
I imagine the flowers on the Express wither quite quickly once their vibrancy fades. I'm researching a cultivation technique to preserve flowers forever, not by turning them into dried flowers, but by allowing water and life to perpetually flow within their stems. However, I'm concerned that making the ephemeral permanent might strip flowers of their fleeting beauty. Would a rose by any other name smell as sweet?
How about embroidering their likeness?
I shan't discount it. There are countless ways to immortalize the most dazzling moments of a flower's life. But what remains most unforgettable is the profound sensation of watching a flower fade away and the heartache that accompanies it.
Rune May has some interesting thoughts on things. But yeah. I really hope that someday we will either get a room for ourselves, because it's like, okay, it's like here's Dong Hung's room, and then we have March's room, and then this room, let's see, yeah, this is Himiko's, And then this one, I believe, is Welt's. As if it's glued in space. Yeah, I think this is Welt's because he basically locked his door with a black hole. If it's glued in space. However, we do have this, which I'm pretty sure opens into another car. Um, I think. Because if we go to the Herta space station, we can actually see the train from outside. Uh, yeah, you could see here. Well, maybe no, I guess it does. It does have another car. Because we have the engine here. And then if you go into this door here, that takes you into the main parlor car. So you can look here, and if you look at the top pieces there, the little um, squares on top, it kind of shows where the cars are. So you have that one, which is a parlor car, and then the next one is the car with Dong Hung, March 7th, and the others' rooms. And then you have a car on the end there that we don't have access to. So I'm kind of wondering on if they ever are going to give us kind of like, ooh, a room of our own or a train car or something that kind of like works as like the Serenity pot where we can sort of decorate the area. It would be really cool. I really like that part of gameplay. Also, it's kind of interesting that it's like Honkai Impact and Genshin have something like that, but Honkai Star Rail doesn't. And so it would be really nice to do that. And if they do, I would hope that you could actually place the characters down like you do in the Honkai Impact and Genshin. And if they do, I'm definitely going to be putting Ting Yun, Gallagher, and Misha in there uh, with the idea of, okay, yeah, I know you guys kind of quote unquote died in the story, but you're playable and I have you, so you're not actually dead. This is the safe spot. This is like the alternate whatchamacallit. Uh um, it's the alternate universe, I guess. I kept trying to think of something that starts with S, but all my brain can think of is syllable, and it's like, no, that's not what I'm trying to say. Um, Parallel universe. That's kind of I think like parallel universe, and so they can hang out in there and stuff like that. But so far, it has not happened yet. I don't know when it originally happened in Honkai Impact, like when they incorporated it, or if it was from the get go. I know with Genshin, it was in like the first 6 months, I think, and we're already over a year and it hasn't happened, but I'm sure we're gonna use that third car for something. I mean, I think it even still has a third car on the um it has a third car in the loading screen too, I think. So it's not just oh yeah, we just have one extra car here, but it doesn't actually matter. I like this design. Here's like, wow, that's a big gun, a big gun barrel.
Your voice is like an alarm.
The other thing I'd really like to have is basically, I know that for movement wise, they make it so when you are just kind of have to jump from place to place, you just warp and that's it. And then the Astral Express will be outside. Like for example, if I was to go to Penacony and go and be like, oh, go to the parlor car, and I look out, I would see Penacony outside the window. Um, so it is implied that the we are taking the train to get to these places as we jump around. But I think it would be nice to have kind of a section of, oh, we're going on the trip, in that instead of just oh, we left, oh, we warped, we're here. You know, have it actually feel like a trip. Like I know the one it's Honkai Impact Reburn 2 animation, where it's kind of like a concept thing for Star Rail, where they have Welt and Carol, and she gets on the train and she sees someone who kind of looks like March 7th but with white hair. Um and just the feeling of getting on that train and being like, "Oh, we're going on a trip. This is going to be so cool." You get so hyped for it. But you don't really get that feeling here. I mean, they do have the warping, but it's the same animation. Um, and it only happens when we're actually going to a completely new planet. You know, which considering Penacony just came out, we're probably not going to get a new one for quite a while. Boot Hill is just so cool, though. Pretty cool. All right. Well, I think I'm going to wrap it up for right now. I'm a little tired, and uh, I plan on playing a little bit of, I think, Wuthering Waves tomorrow, but I will have to see because I know the Twitch studio that I use is not going to be available anymore, and so I have to get used to the OBS. So it'll kind of depend, but we'll figure it out. It's not until later anyway. But so there you go. Right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming, and I hope to see you again. If you'd like to rewatch this video or whatever, once it kind of gets conked out of Twitter or Twitch, I will be uploading it onto YouTube. Please, follow and on both YouTube and Twitch if you want to, and also like and subscribe and all that good stuff. If you want to, I have also have a Discord server and a Twitter page, which you can find the links on my main page or in the description of this video if you're watching it on YouTube. So thank you guys so much for coming, and ouch, I just knocked my hands. Oh gosh. Well, anyway, thank you for coming, and I will see you later. Okay. Bye. Glad he came home.